All right, it looks like we are live. I'm going to do a quick check just to see because it's Facebook and it doesn't always let us know of this. But I am here live with Natasha, and she is one of my amazing clients inside the Sustainable Profit Academy. And she's going to share a little bit about her experience inside the Sustainable Profit Academy. I'm a big believer in allowing people to see and feel what it really is like to work with someone and what you should expect. So I'm going to just start by having Natasha just kind of talk about herself and her business and what she does so that you guys can kind of get an idea of who she is and what it's like. So I'm going to toss it over to you.
Sure. First of all, I had no idea how impactful this program would be for me. So also I want to say that Nas is not paying me to say any of this. This is all genuine. This is all coming right from me. But yeah, I'm Natasha. I'm a trauma recovery coach. I work with women who have PTSD or any kind of trauma, help them get unstuck, remove their trauma so that they can move forward in their life free from triggers, fear, and all the things that are holding them back.
Essentially, she changes lives in like the most amazing and incredible way, and she's just amazing at what she does. So I'm super thankful for you to be here. So what I'm going to do is just jump into a couple of questions, and if any of you guys are watching and you have any questions for Natasha, please feel free to jump in. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to answer. But we like to get started by just asking, what were you struggling with the most that led you to working with me in the first place?
To use your wording, I was the best kept secret. So I was really in love with my program and in love with my offer and what I could do for people. I had practiced through my training, had a few friends that I kind of subjected to it, and I was really excited to get it out into the world. But getting clients consistently and the right people was really difficult. So I kind of felt like it was this hurry up and wait kind of thing. Like I was ready to just scream this message out into the world and start helping all the people, but nobody was hearing me. So yeah, I think we ended up having a chat in another group about that frustration exactly. And you were like, I have all the answers for you. I was like, I'll take it.
I know it's the worst feeling, right? Like I always say, I work with people who are exceptional. Like I know you're extraordinary at what you do. You do something that's absolutely like mind blowing, amazing. And it's really hard when you're so good at what you do. And then you try to share that with people and it goes nowhere. And you start to get frustrated and you start to kind of like question, do I really know what I'm doing? Am I really like on the right path? And that's like my biggest fear in the online space is that there's so many best kept secrets. There's so many people who have these amazing, incredible gifts, but they don't know how to share it in a way that actually gets people to say yes. And so they go down this rabbit hole and it's awful. But yeah, meeting you, I loved it. I knew from the first conversation that you did something exceptional and that I had to be the one to support you. So tell me really quickly, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask, were there any objections or fears or thoughts that were going through your head? And I always like my clients to be totally honest because it's helpful for others to see that we all go through this. But did you have any objections or fears or thoughts that almost made it where you didn't work with me?
It wasn't an objection around you or the program so much, but it was the imposter syndrome of me because it's an investment into my practice and my business. And like you said, I was struggling with getting the clients and worrying like, is this really for me? Am I doing this right? And I was like, this is a big investment. This is a big step. And what if I go through it and I can't do this or this isn't for me? So I kind of battled that internal voice and that imposter syndrome a little bit. But yeah, around the program and everything, like our breakthrough call or sales call or whatever you call it, I call mine breakthrough calls, so they're just all breakthrough calls for me. Having that conversation with you in person through video, just you had a faith in me that I didn't have in myself. So I was like, okay, let's just go for it.
I love that. But that's exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, it's not that you didn't know you were good at it. It's that when time goes on and we start to like doubt ourselves, that imposter syndrome creeps in and kind of robs us of our joy. It robs us of the thing that we felt so passionate about. And I saw that in you really quickly. And I know even our pathway call, I was like, all right, girl, we need to talk about, like, you were playing it small. I could tell you from that very first call. And I just think that's so true, right? Like, as some people, I actually created a post in this group earlier where we talked about how some people wait till they're like so far gone and feeling like, I'll just try to figure it out. But then when you get to that other side, you start to have all these doubts and fears and these thoughts about yourself that aren't even real, that kind of like hinder you from being able to do anything. So that's super helpful, I think. So tell me, what made you, and maybe you already answered this, what made you ultimately decide that this was the right decision to move forward?
This is going to sound totally woo-woo, but like, I judge everything based on vibe. So it just from the first message and like contact that we had, I was like, I love this girl. I want to be her best friend. And like it was your confidence that like you have the program and the knowledge to help, but it's not cookie cutter for every person that you work with. Because that was one of the biggest struggles I'd had in the past looking at other programs, was like, it was kind of here's the, path, but you kind of got to figure it out yourself. And I'm like, I'm not just a life coach though, and I'm not a business coach. And like, my audience is very niche and delicate. So I was like afraid that all the programs were going to be like that. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to connect with these people in a way that I want to, because I'm using verbiage from another coaching program, but like, I'm not that kind of coach. But yeah, you were able to tell me that like, yes, it's a program that can be adjusted and tweaked to fit your audience and your message and what you're trying to do. And having that conversation in the pathway call was just that in itself. I was like, yeah, okay, let's go. Like,
I know you messaged me, I think like an hour later, and you're like, I'm ready. And I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Let's go. I love that. But I think that's a key thing, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people hear that where I say, this is not a coaching program. Like, I'm not coaching you to do the same thing that someone else did and someone else did. But I don't think they believe it, because honestly, and I've seen so many people go through programs and actually come out the other side and say, it didn't work for me because it was just like this cookie cutter thing. And I'm like, we don't do that. We literally build a customized strategy. Like, there's framework and there's baselines and foundations, but at the end of the day, it has to make it sound like you. It has to be what works for you. So I love that you said that, because I say that all the time when people are, every client I have is like, make sure you tell people this is not a coaching program. You're not coach, you're strategist. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure people know this. So tell me really quickly, what has been the biggest shift for you in your business? It might not be exactly what you thought it would be, but tell me what's the biggest shift that's happened for you.
I think it was finding my message, because I was very much watching other people in the industry, watching other people in the space and looking at what works for them, which is great to start with, but I was kind of stuck in that, which I'm sure was just feeding into the imposter syndrome as well. But again, a lot of them weren't trauma coaches, they're life coaches or they're empowerment coaches. So me kind of mimicking those voices wasn't doing the trick for me, because it's a completely different audience. It's a completely different client. So really working through the mindset shifts around that as well, and getting that clarity about like, oh, this is what I'm doing, and like, this is the root of like my passion and my purpose. And also I very much was stuck in the science of what I do, because I love it. It fascinates me, but it was really hard to let that go because it fascinates me. But yeah, you made it very clear that like, my ideal client is not interested in the science. They're just interested in the recovery. So kind of switching that narrative and making that shift has been really, really powerful for me, because it doesn't matter what platform I'm using it on or if it's in person, it just connects with people a lot better. So that, I think, was the biggest learning point and the biggest shift.
And I think I saw like night and day transformation in that, right? Like we don't ever put, and I'm not to say that the message is what made it. It's not, right? It's you. I've always said that like 100 times too. Like it's you
Yeah.
that made this. But I think being able to have a way to share your gift in a way that people understood, but also were like, holy crap, this is amazing. And it's exactly what I needed. Like I remember that TikTok video that went viral and you're like, people are like really into this and they like it and they want me. And I'm like, yeah, they do, because you're amazing. But I think that people don't recognize that. Like we go through all these, I just need more clients. I just need more leads. I just need all this. And it's like, but yeah, if I can't explain if you can't say to someone what you do in a way that actually gets them to say, oh yeah, this is amazing for me. It doesn't matter how many leads. It doesn't matter how many clients, like none of that stuff matters. And I remember we had a mock sales call this last Friday and you said, I get through like my spiel of what I do and like, so like, it's so quick. I just totally know what I'm saying now. It like builds this confidence in you. It like makes you realize that I am really freaking awesome at what I do. And I have a message that now can share that with people, not just in my head that I can say out loud and it makes them feel good. So yeah. I will say watching you go through that is amazing because it's like night and day seeing you be able to like share that and feel amazing about yourself in the process. It's not like cookie cutter. You don't feel like you're using someone else's language. And I think that was a big key thing of what you said. I think so many of us do that. And it's not necessarily that it's bad or it's good. It's that we get caught up in this noise. And so we speak other people's language and other people's voice. And then we don't know where our own message is. We're like, oh, I don't know. I sound like everybody else now. And that's where it gets dangerous, right? That we sound like everybody else and we can't like really share that. So I love that. Tell me so far, what have been your best or most excited, the results you're the most excited about so far?
So as a result of shifting the message and getting clear on what I'm offering, you mentioned the viral TikTok. So I was just playing on TikTok and made a really simple video that I was like, this is just kind of an introductory, like you're scrolling through TikTok to escape the real life because, your triggers are overwhelming. And it was like, then you come across me. I'm like, hi, I'm a trauma recovery coach and I help women, reclaim their power in their life. And it blew up. Like, I think this was over a month ago now, but it's still getting attention. It's almost at 300,000 views and like thousands of likes and comments. And I booked over 100 breakthrough calls as a result of that one. And like, this is just a side note, if I may tangent for a second.
For it.
There's a 3-hour time difference between me and Naz. And it was like 9:30 in the morning. And I was messaging her like, I just went viral on TikTok. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to like keep this momentum going without completely losing my head because I was not expecting this at all. And she was super supportive and was like, okay, so here's what you do. Make sure this is in place. This is your first step, make sure everything's really clear about where they're going. And we had this like 20-minute conversation before I realized that it wasn't even 7 o'clock in the morning for you. I was like,
I got 3 kids. We're doing this.
It was also like a Saturday too. So
I love it. We made it happen, right?
Yeah, it was unexpected results because I was expecting things to kind of gradually build and like, keep that train going and that momentum. And it just was like overnight, like boom. Crazy. I'm like, okay, we're diving in head first. I'm like, okay, here we go.
So talk about what happened from that. How many clients, like what did you end up being able to accomplish now in your business?
My message got even more clear because if nothing else, I have had a lot of practice with the breakthrough calls. There were, I want to say like 130 calls booked and like a third of those actually showed up. But even in that was like more than enough.
Yeah.
And I understand too that like in trauma, it's really easy to book the appointment and it's a lot scarier to actually show up and commit to the change. So,
But can we also talk about the elephant in the room that you didn't even have your like sales system all the way put together at that point?
oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Like I was not ready for any of this. It just was like, oh, I'm just playing on TikTok because my sister told me to.
But it's funny because you say, like, when we're talking about booked calls, right? Like, one of the first things I said is we have to eliminate just booking calls. We need to have a system that like gets them to a point where they show up for the call, they're actually ready to purchase. So we like reverse engineered at that point because we're like, all right, we got to get this in play like now to like today, because otherwise that's what happens, right? We could book calls all day and all night, but if it doesn't actually convert and they don't show up, we're wasting our time. So that was one of the things I kept saying to her, hey, we actually have to build the bingeable authority now. We actually have to get the system in place. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to interrupt that.
I don't even remember what I was talking about because it's true. And I will say there are moments in the program where you are confronted with a lot more than just like difficult homework, because I can't speak for everyone as an entrepreneur, obviously, but my business and my coaching comes from a very personal space and it means the world to me. So another thing I resonated with the whole program was you saying success is not optional, because it wasn't. I was like, if this fails, like, why am I here? What am I doing?
Yeah.
So it's personal to me, the success is personal to me, and the messaging is personal. So in like really refining all of that and like the questions that you would ask about who's your client, what does it mean to them, what does that mean for you, I was like, I can do client mindset shifts all day, but if you're asking me to do something, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not for the faint of heart, I will say, because it's a lot of internal work alongside the business work, which is another shift that's been really fun to see, because I'm like, I am my own worst client. So being forced into that is kind of, it's been fun.
Yeah, we're always talking about new levels, new devils, right? Like when we're shifting, people are always like, oh, I just need the strategy. And we're like, cool, let's do the strategy. But your mind's going to get blown when you realize that like all the things you've thought about yourself, all the things you thought about your business have to shift into a place of being ready for that next level of success. And I think we oftentimes don't recognize that until we're there and we're like, okay, yeah, maybe I do need to get into a place where I'm ready for this, because it's, you know, when you get into your business, I want you to build a business that fits your life. I want it to be entangled with each other. I want it to feel good. And if it's so like your business is making you crazy and you're just running it like, you know, an employee, it doesn't feel that way. Right. So, but from all your booked calls, you were able to accomplish what? How did that month go? Because I know you had some goals. Tell us about your goals and what you ended up doing.
So my goal from the beginning of the program was I want to book 4 clients a month. That would slowly fill out the program, give me a good, you know, balance of working with clients, keeping the business afloat, and then just like personal stuff. So as a result of all the sales calls, I actually booked 6 new clients, all of whom were really excited to work with me, and like totally different feeling from feeling like I'm trying to educate them and teach them about what I do versus someone who shows up and says, yes, how do I make this work for me, is a completely different conversation. It was a lot more easy to get them on board and integrate the lessons in with them because they're already halfway there. So it's I hit the goal and then had to make a stretch goal and then hit that. So
I love it. But that's like it, right? Like you want to bring on clients who are actually ready for the change, right? Like it's not just, I want to book clients. And I think that's a big misconception in this industry is like, we want to book clients. That's awesome. But if we don't book clients who are actually going to do the work, we don't get them results, and it doesn't work for our business, both in like retention and what we're looking to accomplish, but more importantly in the impact. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the key thing I keep telling people. Like, I want to bring in clients in my business that are here to actually get results and feel impacted. I don't want to just bring people in to go through the motion. So same with you, you wanted clients who actually created these results that they could walk away and say, oh my gosh, Natasha, this is amazing. You've changed my life. Like, that's what we're in it for. So I love that you didn't just bring in clients, you brought in amazing clients. And I know you've been sharing stuff on Instagram about how like your clients are coming to you and like, I can't imagine my life without you. And here's where I am. Like, that's the goal, right? That's the feeling, and not just for ourselves, but for them, that we want to accomplish, is like actually changing lives, actually creating this ripple effect in our business. So
It is a real ripple effect too, because I've already had 2 referrals from one client who is like on her 3rd session. So like she's not even halfway through or even a quarter of the way through, and she's already seeing differences, which I love, because I'm like, this is what I'm here for. And then, yeah, she sent me an email, like she has a friend or whoever. She's like, I'm sending them your booking link, so watch for that, because they're coming from me. And I was like, this is huge. This is so exciting.
And I think that's one of the things you and I even talked about when we were going through your offer and we were like breaking it down. And I was like, can you start focusing on what you do? And so that's one thing I do want to share, is like a lot of times people don't realize that there's 2 sides to an offer, right? There's the marketability, and everyone talks about that. It's awesome and amazing. There's the result side of like, how am I going to get my clients results? And I think that's so freaking important. And I think it's something often overlooked in this online space. But that's one of the things we work through, is like, how are we going to pull out what Natasha does? Not just like the tools and techniques that you use, but we like created this whole program that's like literally giving people results and making them feel amazing. And then it lets you be shining as the amazing, incredible person that you are and the things that you bring to the table. So let's just talk about, I just love seeing you actually like step into that role. So amazing. So my last question for you is, what are you looking forward to the most in terms of the future of your business?
Everything. I'm looking forward to continuing with this momentum and continuing at this pace. I'm excited to kind of branch out and hopefully come up with a group program that I can offer that is a little bit more accessible to people and gets more people through and recovered faster. So yeah, there's a lot of growth opportunities, which is exciting. But honestly, I'm blown away by the amount of change that has happened in the last few months alone. So
Yeah.
I know it's a very vague answer, but everything.
No, I love it. And I think that's one of the things we talked about, right? Like, the way we create your results framework is duplicatable into a group program. So it's not like going and reinventing the wheel. You have what you need. So, so amazing to do that. So if you want to just give us one last thing of like, if someone here is considering joining the Sustainable Profit Academy, what would you say?
Do it. Because it's so much more than you think it's going to be. Like, I've already touched on the fact that like there's a personal element to it as well. And like the mindset shifts that come along with like the messaging shifts and everything else, not to mention like all the people in the group are incredible women.
Yep.
And we've made some really great like personal connections and friendships in there as well too. So like it's a very, again, vague answer, but just freaking do it.
I love it. Sometimes we just need to be vague. It's cool. We're working with it. Well, I love it. Guys, if you have any questions for Natasha, please feel free to jump in the comments. I'm sure she can come back as well. And then we'll actually have her come back later in the comments, and she can link just where they can find about you, just in case they want to learn more about what you do. But again, Natasha, thank you so much for taking some time to chat. I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you're considering the Sustainable Profit Academy, as Natasha says, just do it. Like Nike commercial, just do it.
Just do it.
It's amazing. But again, thank you guys all so much. And thank you again, Natasha, for being here and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.